Welcome to part 2 of the day I was recruited. Now, after getting everything from the assistant chief, the chief, and the headmaster of Bungoma High School, that is Honorable Nathan Sanya Anaswa, I left for Nairobi. In part 1, I said that my father associated himself with bad people and he used to praise them. But when it came to good people, he used to detest them. One of them, as I said in part 1, was the then chief for Matete location. Matete location today, during Matete location those days used to be called North Cabras location, but today is called Matete sub-county. Luandeti sub-location, that time, today is called Luandeti division. Now, my brother, Richard, was given, during our time, we used to get these things, bursary. But the bursary used to be given by the members of staff. Richard JI-TENGE was on top of his class at Kamsinga School. So those days, bursary used to be given to two types of people. It used to be given to bright students, and the bursary used to be given to students from families that cannot afford school fees. If you are lucky, you qualified for the two. You qualified as a clever person, and you also qualified as somebody from a poor family. So he used to be among the top students in his class. So being among the top students in his class, the staff decided to give him a bursary. And he was given a bursary from Kamsinga High School to take it to the chief to fill in. He took it to Chief Moses Wamocha. And Wamocha looked at him and said, a son of a provincial DCI officer, today they are called RCIO, and you're looking for for bursary. Bursaries are meant from poor people. He told him, I'll not fill in the form. Remember in the part 1, he said he was going to fill in, that he had known me for 5 minutes. Now you can see what he was doing to my brother. He said that he cannot fill in for somebody whose father is a provincial detective. He refused. But Richard went to a shopping center somewhere akatengeneza muhuri imeandikwa North Cabras location, signed something, and the rest they say is history. Now we have reached a stage where I have the letter from the chief, I have the letter from the school I was in. Now it was to wait for the day I was to go to Kiganjo. It was to wait for the day I was to go to Kiganjo. Now, we were told that we were to go to Kiganjo on 26th, Friday 26th, November 1982. I don't know who told us that, but it was to be Saturday 27th. But they told us it's Friday 26th. And we were told that whoever is looking for a job, you are supposed to be here by 6. So anybody looking for a job should be here by 5. And I went and told Mrs. Sakai Shivona, whose house I slept as a civilian in the morning, and in the evening I was a recruit. My last day as a civilian. Okay, police. If you are a police officer, you'll agree with me. You're always being told bad, because even the day you complete your recruit course, you go to a station, you are told, we bado tu ni kurutu, we bado tu ni kurutu. Maybe after working out in the field for 2 or more years is when nobody can now say you are still a recruit or a raia. So I went and told the old man, we were told to be, we were told to be there by 6. And we were told anybody looking for a job should be there by 5. What did I do? I went and said we were told to be there by 4. And anybody looking for a job should be there by 3 a.m. The old man said, okay. So on 26th in the morning, and I repeat, we were supposed to go there on 27th. Somebody just miscalculated and said, come on 26th. On 26th, on 25th in the evening, I was at this house, not MF. MF is Madaraka. We were in this F6 door 16. F6 door 16. Those who have seen Makongeni houses, it was Mudhurwa, but it was F6 door 16. And the boys used to sleep in that small room that faces the other 4 rooms. So he told his son, Samson Wekesa Shivona. Mzee Zakayo Shivona Nakuku told his son, your friend likes Oasio. Oasio is not a friend. But Oasio in Lingala is Moninga. I don't know how I can translate. Okay, kwa Kiswahili ni mwenzio. In Lingala is Moninga. So he told him, Oasio, that is your friend, sleeps a lot. He's supposed to be there by 3 a.m. But don't be shocked if he wakes up at noon. So make sure that he wakes up in time. Now, I'm supposed to be there. They wanted us there at 6 and said you should be there by 5. And I said we are supposed to be there by 4, but people who are looking for a job should be there at 3. And we calculated for you to move from Mudhurwa to Madare and reach there by 3, you have to leave the place at 2. You have to leave Mudhurwa at 2. So for you to leave Mudhurwa at 2, you have to wake up at 1. So he told Wekesa that if you let this friend Mwenzako, if you let Mwenzako to wake up, he'll wake up at noon. So make sure at 1 you wake me up so that we prepare breakfast 1 and 2. We prepare breakfast 1 and then 2 you go. So 1 wake up, you said, yeah. Then we went to sleep. Those days when there was no electricity, people used to sleep by very few people were awake at 9. I had a Seiko 5 watch, which at night was on. While I was covered in a blanket, I never slept even a week. I remember seeing, you see, there are three hands. There are 3 hands in a watch. There is the hour hand. There is the minute hand, and there is the second hand. I remember monitoring the second hand because at night you will see everything, even the sticks at the end, the 11 sticks, you can see them. And even the hour hand and the minute hand, you can see it. But I could monitor the second hand because whenever it bypassed hour hand or minute hand or even those 11 whatever, they would disappear. So you'd know that at quarter to 1 a.m., I left that Simba and went to the main house and knocked the door. And when I knocked the door, the old man called Wekesa. The old man never called his son Wekesa. He used to call him Wechesa. Wechesa. I said, no, in Mudhurwa, you open the door, you don't know whom you're opening for at night. So you have to be sure whom you're talking to. I said, Wechesa. Wekesa. I said, no, it is not Wekesa, it's JI-TENGE. And then he asked me, Owasio. Owasio in Lingala is Moninga. Mwenzako. Mwenzako ako wapi? I said, he's still asleep. The old man was shocked. Said, what time is it? I said, it is, no, it was midnight. Said, no, go and sleep a bit until 1 a.m. So I went and slept. At 1 a.m., I woke Wekesa up. Wekesa woke up with a star. He rushed, let's go and wake Mzee up. I said, everybody's now awake. So the old man saw that there was no need of preparing tea, because you prepare tea, we may be late. He gave Wekesa money twice. Gave Wekesa money for tea. There was this OTC place. There was a 24-hour. Those days, having a 24-hour hotel was really, but you know, OTC because it is a bus station. So we went to he gave us money for OTC. One, two, he gave us money for the OTC. He gave Wekesa money for transport from Mudhurwa to transport for 3 people, isn't it? 2 going, 1 coming back. So we left. When we left, thinking of it, it was a bit risky because lighting from Juja Road, carrying a box, just like you see recruits carrying a box all the way to Madare Police Depot was risky. We could be mugged, but we were not mugged. So we went there and arrived at 3 a.m. We found 2 police officers who had been placed there to receive us. They were shocked. You mean you are reaching there this time? But did we say you are supposed to reach here at 5? You are reaching here too. Kweli unapenda kazi ya polisi. Kweli unapenda kazi ya polisi. Then Wekesa took note. That was 3 a.m. We stayed there from 3 a.m. Up to, the first person to come came at 6:15. We had been told to be there by 6. We were told to reach there by 6. But we were told there was somebody looking for a job should be there by 5:30 or even 5. Some people were reaching there. The second person after me came 6:15. Wekesa was there until somewhere around 9. When he was told that your friend is safe, you can now go back. So he went back. We waited. Can you believe it? Somebody even came at around 10 a.m. We were told to be there by 6. Somebody came at 10 a.m. That is when we were told a few things. We were told it was a mistake. It was a mistake that we were told to come on 26th. We were supposed to come on 27th. And we were told that if it was the day of being recruited, the fellow who came after 6 would have been unemployed. Would be unemployed. That is, I did not talk about meeting Michael Arum. Michael Arum, the former number 2 in the police services. He was there. He assisted a certain boy, a vegetarian, but he played so cool. The recruitment day, he never interfered. People would just say, "Huyu ni kijana Michael Arum." We were 3 sons of senior police officers. There was that boy who had been brought. He was not the son, but he was brought by Michael Arum. The only thing you could know about Michael Arum was every police officer was saluting him, and every police officer was pointing at him. And he had a dark blue blazer with utumishi kwa wote badge, where the school badges usually are. That is how Michael Arum was. He never interfered. He never did anything. He was just there, cool. His boy came. He was clean shaved. So we were told that is how recruits are supposed. Some of us were going there with afro. You know whom I mean. Eh? So some of us had afro. We were told that the haircut should be like that one of Michael Arum's boy. There was another Mukamba fellow who was brought in, who was related to Mrs. Mwangangi, Rosemary Mwangangi, a senior superintendent of traffic police. Now, senior superintendent of traffic police in Kenya that time was the second most senior traffic officer in Kenya. It is just like the county, we can say like today, the county police commander. So she brought that kijana ya Mwangangi, kijana ya Mrs. Mwangangi, kijana ya Mike Room na kijana ya Kwatenge. So we were three. Then we were told we should be that way. We stayed until somewhere around lunchtime is when we were released. And then I went and had a haircut similar to that one of kijana ya Mike Room. We left all our things there. We were told only to pick our certificates, and we were told the following day we were to go there at 8. The following day we were told to go at 8. So that evening, when Mzee Shivona, Zakayo, the late Zakayo Shivona Nakuku and his family were seated, now trying to imagine, saa hii si amefika Kiganjo or something. They saw me entering the house, and they were very shocked. They were very, very shocked. They were very shocked that I had I had escaped from Kiganjo. But then I told them. Then that day, I was told to go and sleep. We slept, had a good supper. The following morning, we woke at the right time. When we woke up at the right time, he told his son, Wechesa, this time when they tell you to leave, don't leave him there. Make sure he has entered the lorry to Kiganjo. Make sure he has entered the lorry to Kiganjo, then come back. We don't want a heart attack here. So we went. This time we didn't have tea at OTC. The old man prepared tea, and just like the previous day, he offered prayers, and after offering prayers, he kept on reminding his son, don't leave him there. Make sure he has entered the lorry, and the lorry was on its way to Kiganjo. So we arrived. When we arrived at 8, again, people still came at around 9 and 10. But I was among the first ones who were there at 8. Any meeting, people have been having meetings will tell you that timekeeping is something that was installed in me by my father, the late Jaffe the Lando. So we stayed there until it reached a time when we boarded a lorry around 10. When we boarded a lorry for Kiganjo, but we had to wait for a vehicle. There was a lorry that was coming from Kiambu. This lorry from Kiambu, we had been told two things. We were told that those who were taken to GSU, they can take themselves to Embakasi Strait, or they can come and we go together. So the lorry from Kiambu passed through to take those people who are going to the GSU training school. And people who have been recruited in Kiambu for Kiganjo joined us. I can tell you that that thing I noticed in 1982 is that Daniel Arap Moi made sure that very few Kikuyus joined the police service, especially those who were taken in November 1982. Moi had a strange relationship with Kikuyus. So we left that place and went to the home of Mr. Washira. We went to the home of Mr. Washira. Mr. Washira later on became the police commissioner, the overall police boss. So we went to his Nairobi home, loaded a lot of his things. By then he was a senior superintendent. We loaded a lot of his things on the vehicle, on the lorry. Then we went. I remember we reached Kiangwashe. We reached at Kiangwashe in Kirinyaga County. Reaching Kiangwashe, there is a lot of, Hey, boys from Kiambu, boys from Nairobi were shocked at the price of what do you call fruits were being sold. The fruits were very cheap that they bought a lot of it. Me, I told them I cannot buy. They asked me why. I said, of course, I knew my recently deceased cousin, Emmanuel Pandi JI-TENGE, had been a recruit in the army, and when they were in Langata barracks, I used to go and I used to see the kind of food they used to eat. It was a lot. So I told them, even if it is lunchtime and we have missed lunch, sapa ile tutapata kiganjo ni ya mwaka. Sapa ile tutapata kiganjo ni ya mwaka. So no need of eating. Wacha tumbo iwe so that we can eat a lot. Uh, but they bought. So as we were going, they forced me to eat their bananas and fruits. And you see, how many were they? Around 20. Imagine 20 people, okay, 19 or 18. Now you being given a banana each. That is 18 bananas. So we went, reached Karatina. We went past Kiaridhaine. It was very emotional for me to pass by Kiaridhaine secondary school because my sister, whom I follow, the late Nyakenywa Wamoyo, Lydia Nyakenywa Wamoyo, she is schooled in that school, Kiaridhaine. Now imagine passing through a school that your sister, whom you follow, went to. We passed there, we went, and then reached at Washira's place. The things that we were carrying, we left them there. Then we went and arrived through a place called Gatifa, Gandu place. I didn't know because I had not. I used to use the normal route. Then suddenly I saw the sign Gandu Girls, and I passed through my maternal home and it was so emotional. I tried to look out if I could see anybody. The home was just there. You can see it from the lorry. Then we went up to Kiganjo. We went up to Kiganjo. When we went past Giagatika, from Giagatika we went to Marwa and all the way to Kiganjo. Upon arriving at the gate, there was a corporal who opened the gate. Our lorry had two sergeants. There was the driver who was a sergeant, and there was the person escorting us who was a sergeant also. In police or in discipline services, the person who was escorting us was in charge, even if, okay, in this case, they were of the same rank, even if he were to be of a lower rank. Now, when we arrived there, the corporal opened the door and asked the sergeant, Afande, hawa ni makurutu? You know, he was not even sure whether we were Cosman or anything. He was told in Makurutu. Hey, we felt we were in a jail. We were so much harassed by Corporal Marwa. His name was Corporal Marwa. And that is what my God-given what. But my mother, the late Lucy Karinge Agata alias Mumbi, she had a photographic mind. God gave me, but I inherited through my mother. My mother could tell you something that happened in the 50s as if it happened yesterday. So Kopromaro looked at us. Said, we were all down. We were lining up. And then he asked us, do you have, where are your testimonials? They were in the boxes. We were there and we were lining up. Then he asked us, muliandikiwa kazi wapi? Muliandikiwa kazi wapi? You know, we were employed at Mathare Police Depot. So we said Mathare, and he laughed. An evil, long, evil, Dracula laughter. Yeah, he gave us that Dracula laughter. After that Dracula laughter, he said, oh, you are the madmen who are going for your those, and you saw a line up, you thought this was a line for patients, and you lined up, kumbe you have been taken here. Nyinyi nyote ni wazimu eh? Nyinyi nini ni wazimu? Then he asked us, Kopromaro, nani amekuja na chang'aa? Abebe mkono wa kushoto juu. Nani amekuja na bangi? But I was asking myself, even if you take chang'aa, even if you take bang, can you go with it to Kiganjo? That is what I was asking myself. I saw recently when recruits were going to Kiganjo, and even RTS in Eldoret, there's a dog that sniffs the bags. Those days there was nothing like that. We are being told, nani amebeba bangi abebe mkono wa kushoto juu. Nani amebeba chang'aa abebe mkono. Na kama umebeba chang'aa na bangi, beba mikono yote mbili juu. Then from there was a certain Mukamba. No, this Mukamba, yeah, there were two Wakambas we were employed with. There was one who was brought by Mrs. Mwangangi. I'm sorry when I said he was a vegetarian. No, the other second Mukamba was the one who was a vegetarian. Now this vegetarian was the first one to be, his name to be entered at the guard room. The gate, they call it guard room. His name was the first one to be written. And later on, we came to realize that he's a vegetarian. So, because during the training in Kiganja and during the training in GSU, he had a rough time. He had a rough time because Kiganjo, hey, anything you eat, there is meat there. You eat getheri, meat. You eat cabbage, meat. You eat everything, meat. So he had a lot of hard time, both in Kiganjo and the GSU training school later. So after they had completed everything with him, there was Jaginjue. He was attending Corporal's course. For those of you who know Nairobi area, you know Jaginjue, he was the OCPD, Central Police Station. Then he became the Director of Operations in Nairobi area. Then he became the overall Director of Operations, the whole Kenya. By then, Jaginjue was training. He was a constable training to be a corporal. That is when this fellow had his everything, umechukua certificate vizuri nini, they started beating him up. Said, kimbia mara moja uende Kakamega barracks. He took an anti-clockwise move round the guard room and he was headed to the main gate. When he was headed to the main gate, people were shocked. They thought that maybe the beating he had received had made him be scared of the police work. So they said, why are you running away from whatever? Says, mliniambia nikimbie Kakamega town, nitafute barracks inafanana na Lang'ata barracks. And you told him, no. We are not meaning atuende Kakamega utafute barracks kama Lang'ata barracks. Kwa kijeshi, dormitories zinaitwa barracks. Kwa hivyo kuna dormitory hapa inaitwa, kuna dormitories nyingi. Kuna dormitory inaitwa Embu, kuna dormitory inaitwa Garissa, kuna dormitory inaitwa Kakamega. So tukikwambia enda Kakamega barracks, tunasema enda dormitory inaitwa. So they took him past the canteen straight to that direction. We who were there subsequent, we were just being told, after you have filled in anything, you carry your bag, your box on the head, somebody chases you, whipping you. Leave alone this today's recruit where you see, I can see, there was even about 5 years ago, a recruit, a courseman, somebody who is attending a course in Kiganjo, assisting this recruit to carry his bag to. Sisi coursemen were beating us, sweeping us, mob justice like. And you know, we knew that that corridor there between the canteen and the studio, photo studio, is where we knew that is where we were entering, and then we knew that is where we were entering, and then going to. So they could beat us, and miracles do happen. miracles do happen. The first miracle of that day, we found ourselves in Kakamega Barracks. That was around 4, 3 or 4. We have missed lunch. Then around after placing those things in, you arrive there, you are shown double deck beds. And you know, I had been to boarding school twice. I've been to primary boarding school, PBS Kajiado, had been to Bungoma High School, and I can tell you the double deck in Kiganjo were worse. They were worse than the double deck beds were worse than even those 2 boarding schools had been to. And as you are trying to look for any bed that was slightly better for those which are there, you'd be beaten. So place your bed anywhere. You place your bed on one of the beds. There is no mattress, there's no blanket, there's nothing. You just place it there, and then you are told, kuja uchukue ringa. You are taken to a store, you find slashers. The slashers are, they look like Masai CBs. Yani zimetumika mpaka zikaisha. The handles are there, a small cracker there. Then you are taken to a place to cut grass. You are taken to a place to cut grass. Recruits of today, just listen to what was happening. Look for similarities and differences between you today and us in 1982. Now, they had stopped recruiting police for 1 year. Just like this time, they had stopped for 3 years. During our time, they had stopped for 1 year. The grasses were massive. And you know, cutting grass is recommended you cut in the morning. In the afternoon, it is dry. So we were cutting and our fingers were, blood was coming out. We were told to whatever, and we are being harassed. And these coastmen are the one who were harassing us. Actually, the coastmen monopolized us more than 20 times more than what the teachers monopolized us. So the coastmen were telling us, kata, sijui nini, nini. There are some unprintable things I'm avoiding for obvious reason. Now, from there, it reached 6. There was the lowering of flags. These days, lowering of flags, it is done in every place in Kenya. But those days, in the police stations outside operation area, they used to raise and they used to raise and lower flags silently. You never know. But having stayed in Garissa, they used to lower flags and raise flags while there was a bugler who would play the trumpet. So it reached that time, and people were wondering what the trumpet was, and I was telling them, can you stand still? Even the coastmen would not even tell them that. Can you stand still? Then the bugle played. Funny thing is, after the bugle had played, there was another part which is called Chungulia Pipa. Yeah, I was talking to a certain AP and asked him about Chungulia Pipa. He said, Mzee, hata wakati yenyu kulikuwa na hiyo Chungulia Pipa. Then when Chungulia Pipa started playing, this coastman just left without even telling us a thing. Now we continued cutting grass without supervision. This one was a bit better because the coastmen just disappeared after the lowering of flag. Suddenly we saw them coming with many from Northeastern came with funny looking plates. I was telling, now you see the recruits knew that I knew something more than them. I told them those are called the mess tins. Those people place their food. And they were passing us with plates and whatever without even telling us what they were doing. They passed us and passed a fence like the one behind me, went there. Kumbe, they were going for supper. After supper, they came back. That is when they noticed us. Kurutu, why are you not going to eat? We said, what? And then sea mess. Now, sea mess, that is a constable's mess. So we were told to go to CMS. We didn't know where it is and whatever. We were just told to take plates and go to that direction. We went, we had our supper, and came back to the barracks, the dormitory. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'm talking of 1982. Now, we went to the dormitories. We were recruits alone. It was called, the dormitory that I was in was Kakamega Barrack. We went there, we stayed. There is the bed, which is just in a, if you cannot even compare with the bed that we used in Bungoma High or primary boarding school in Kajiado. No, worse. There's no mattress, there's no blanket, there's nothing. It's only that your box is on top of the bed to claim that bed. Then we stayed. At night, somebody came. Kurutwe. Hey, we were just seated there like confused. And have you ever driven a vehicle at night and you get a wild animal on the road? With the floodlights, they get confused, isn't it? Now that is how it was. That is how it was. We were just there confused. Told go to junior, and then junior, mchukue mattress na blanket. The fellow just said, and then junior. Now junior, he meant junior training wing. In Kiganjo, there are two. We can say two. We can say there are two training wings. There is the junior training wing, and then there is the senior training wing. Senior training wings is for training inspectors and above. So we are told to go to junior, which means junior training wing. We are supposed to go to junior training wing. We don't know whether it is east, west, or not. But we left. And I can tell you, just like Israelites were led back to Canaan, where they did not know, we somehow ended up at junior training, where we were given a blanket, two blankets, and one mattress. And again, we somehow ended back in our dormitory, Kakamega dormitory, and we slept. That day, my dear viewers, the day I woke up as a civilian and slept as a police recruit. This is the second and final part of my recruitment and the day I joined the police. That was on Saturday, 27th November 1982, a long time ago. God bless police. God bless everybody.